Evet, çok kıymetli konuklarımız, artık ikinci günün son programındayız. Biraz yorgunluk var. Ama heyecanımız asla dinmedi. Büyük bir heyecanla yolumuza devam ediyoruz. Yine çok kıymetli bir konuğumuz var. Yarın da tüm gün tüm hızıyla programlarımız devam edecek. Efendim, Türkiye Innovation Week'te alanında uzman, güncel konuları, güncel problemleri konuşuyoruz alanında uzman isimlerle birlikte. Yine çok kıymetli bir konuğumuz var. O isimlerden biri gelecek sahneye. Sayın Doktor Magda Chelly huzurlarınıza gelecek ama ben kendisini bir tanıtmak isterim öncesinde. Polonya Krakow'da dünyaya geldi ve eğitimini Tunus ve Fransa'da tamamladı Chelly. Siber güvenlik alanında iş dünyası ve akademide önemli sorumluluklar da üstlenmiş bir isim kendisi. Son olarak Dünya Ekonomik Forumu bünyesinde de görev yapıyor. Günümüzün birbirine bağlı dünyasında siber saldırıların hacmi de çok arttı ve çok da karmaşıklaştı aslında bu işler. Siber güvenliği en önemli konulardan biri haline de getiren aslında günümüzdeki bu değişim ve dönüşümler, ama zirvemiz boyunca Innovation Week kapsamındaki bu 3 gün boyunca bu meseleyi de zaten detaylı bir şekilde ele aldık. Şimdi bu konuda hepimizi aydınlatacak konuşmalarını yapmak üzere Sayın Doktor Magda Chelly'yi alkışlarınızla sahneye davet ediyorum. Hello again, welcome back. And the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests. It's my pleasure to be here for the 4th time in Istanbul, Turkey. Merhaba. I love visiting this country. It's really a fantastic pleasure to be not only here, but as well to have the opportunity to talk to you about cyber security. And of course, today is as well a pleasure because I am closing a fantastic day, and as such, I don't want to leave you with an empty plate. I will try to make sure that not only you learn something about cybersecurity, but it is an exciting and fascinating, I would say, session of a few minutes. Let's make sure that you engage as well with me. Because, let's be honest, the day was amazing. There was a lot of interesting insights. And I came here as a closing speech or as a closing act, right? No pressure. And we can see we had some challenges to bring you all in. So let's make sure we have fun. But again, I want to start or change the tone and move on into a story. A story that is not as happy. A story that is literally engaging, creating emotions. A story of a mother. A mother who in 2019 was aiming to celebrate the birth of her kid. A mother who was looking forward to raise a baby, to become a girl, to become a woman afterwards. And unfortunately, this woman did not have the chance to do that. She lost her baby in 2019 following very hard complications. Her baby passed away a few months after, and her mom believes that it would have been avoided if the technology used in the clinic was actually working and supporting the diagnostic. This mother did not have the chance to raise her baby. What happened in 2019 is that a clinic, a health facility, was attacked. The health facility was a victim of a cyber crime. The cyber crime led to the hospital or clinic not to have access to any technology and not to be able to use their devices. And what we see here is that the Wall Street Journal reported, as per the court documents, that there were no computer working. So basically, the doctors, the nurses could not get access to any computers or patients' data. They needed to go back and use paper instead of using technology, paper and pen. And some of the medical staff could not actually even deal with it or handle the situation. That is what happened in 2019 in a medical facility. It was a cyber attack called a ransomware. A ransomware is a malicious software attack that can limit access to data and systems and lead to cyber criminals asking for a ransom, or basically an amount of money. But I will explain to you further that. The point being is that cyber crimes can attack the most important facilities in our life, and they can lead to situations that threaten lives and lead to death. Now, one of these, as I mentioned, is ransomware, and we talk and we use a lot of technical terms in cybersecurity. Some people even think that cybersecurity or anything related to that only concerns technical people or IT, information technology managers. Reality is not the case, but I will come back to that in a bit. Now, this famous ransomware, if you heard on the news, if you have seen any articles, have been not only increasingly popular during the latest years, but have been targeting as well critical infrastructure, including healthcare facilities. When it happens, cyber criminals will launch the attack and they will demand, as I mentioned previously, a sum of money in exchange to releasing access to data and systems. Now, this malware works using encryption, another term that a lot of cybersecurity professionals like to use. But it's not a magical term. Encryption actually is a term that can be explained in pretty easy terms. Let's take an example. You want to protect your passport or your digital, or let's say a very particular important document. You can close it in a security safe box, you close it with a key, and you hold the key. I like this analogy because actually that's exactly what encryption means. So the cyber criminals, when they launch a ransomware attack, they lock access to your data, your systems with the key, and they hold the key. So unless they provide you the key, you cannot get access to, again, your data and systems. Now, while, again, this has been there for several years, we still see that corporates, governments, and consumers are facing the same challenges, where those attacks continue to increase or they continue to be targeted to specific industries, impacting our daily lives, as I mentioned. And this is not happening because they are very sophisticated attacks. In reality, most of the cyber attacks are successful because someone like me or you clicked on a link. So again, you know, we see on the news, we feel that there is a lot of very, very smart people there that use technology to get those companies down, to get data and sell this data on the dark web. But actually, very often, again, it's just someone clicking on a link. It's just the IT manager who didn't update, for example, a system, or you who actually ignored that notification to update your laptop or your phone. Every click we make nowadays matters, and every click we make can lead to a situation that can impact life or death. Now, You wonder, yes, but technology and all the budgets that we have to secure technology are there to ensure that it's secure. Well, let me give you the example of a house. When you build a house, you want to ensure that it's built with the right fundamentals, that when there is a flooding, you don't end up like in the situation where literally your furniture is not usable anymore. You want to build a house that is solid. You want to ensure that the right preparation, especially if you know that you might be exposed to flooding, are there. The same happens with technology. We are looking at artificial intelligence. We are talking about quantum computing. We are talking about cloud. We are talking about terms that you or maybe others don't understand. The one thing that they have in common, though, they might not have the security embedded in them, which means that the results might lead to a successful cyber attack, or your data being compromised, or your clinic not being able to provide you the right emergency services when you need them. Now, let's go back to the hospital example. In 2017, 16 of national healthcare facilities were attacked in the UK. Not one, not two, but 16. That was probably a malware or an incident that you heard of called WannaCry. Now imagine in this case, since 2017, we have massive attack. Then in 2019, we have an additional example where perhaps that baby has died because of that. And why I say perhaps, because the end result of the court is still ongoing. What does it mean, or what does it show? We as human beings still trust technology. We believe that technology will protect our data, will ensure that we are secure. But reality and the number of cyber incidents happening every year show the opposite. But also there is another reason why it's important to understand the change. Why suddenly we have so many attacks? Why everyone is on the news talking about cybersecurity? Companies and nations are investing in this new way to protect us, protect the digital world. Why it just started? Well, I spent some time preparing for this talk, and of course I tried to read and find interesting facts that I could share with you. And one of the facts that is very interesting in my view is that our nervous system transmits actually signals at up to 431 kilometers per hour. Basically, our nervous system is able to exchange information very, very fast. How does that relate to technology? Well, we are transmitting data across the world, everywhere, in seconds. What was done previously in hours, in minutes, today just requires seconds. You're sending an email to your friend. At the end of the world, they will receive that information almost instantaneously. But that's not all. We are all dependent on smartphones and mobiles. Yes, I use the term dependent on purpose. And I will ask you a question before I go further. Can I see, or can I have people raising their hands if they can survive more than one day without a smartphone? Anyone? Oh, 2 people. Oh, 4 people. That's great. Congratulations. You can survive without your phone. We are using technology everywhere. And smartphones are part of our daily life for everything. We book flights, we travel, we connect with families, with friends. But not only that, we use technology in our houses. We have smart TVs, we have smart watches, we have even smart ovens soon. And those are called Internet of Things. Now, all those devices, they are doing one thing. They are storing and holding your data, from your name, surname, to your email, to perhaps your address, your mobile phone number, and many other information that might be even not available to you or not transparent to you. And whenever we store and transmit that data, this data is not only shared, but as well perhaps stored somewhere where you don't know. And the statistics show that today, every day, we create 328 millions of terabytes of data every day. Now, this actually eventually might amount to around 120 zettabytes in a year. So you're wondering, what is this terabyte perhaps and zettabyte, and what are those terms, right? So let me tell you, what is it? In an analogy, 1 terabyte would be equivalent to what we call 213 DVDs. I'm sure you all know what is a DVD, right? Let's say one movie perhaps you have on a DVD. Now imagine you have 213 of this for 1 terabyte. But when it comes to 1 zettabyte, you actually have the equivalent of 213 billion DVDs. That is a lot of data. And that is not only scary, or I'm not just saying this fact to you to make you scared, but it also requires a very good strategy and way to protect that data from malicious usage. It's not only about having this massive number of CDs and DVDs. It's about understanding where is that data, how is that data stored, and how the new technology-enabled and powered tools can actually abuse this data, and cyber criminals use it for their own benefit. Now, because of the embrace of technology, as I told you, we are dependent on technology. We use it for everything that we do. We are not only behind, but we are actually in a race, in a marathon, to make sure that we achieve that goal of using technology, but as well of using it responsibly, using it securely. And that marathon that we are in is not an easy one. It's a continuous run. It's a continuous run behind, because technology is adopted first, and then we think about security, and then we think about privacy. And this is another question that I want to ask you. Who from the audience used before AI-powered tools? Hands up. AI-powered tools. I see a few, and the number is growing. Now, another follow-up question. Have you read the terms and conditions? And I see no and smiles. Who reads terms and conditions? So, anyone read lately in the last week some terms and conditions? It's something fun that companies write on their website, and usually it's very long and boring. No one reads them. But the reality is, or majority of users and consumers don't, but the reality is that those terms and conditions will tell you if the company takes care of your data and how. Now, those terms and conditions are not the only ones that matter when you use technology. What matters as well is to understand, again, how many of us are using technology ahead of verifying and validating if that technology has been assessed for security and privacy again. So we are seeing centuries of progress. We are seeing things that can be done nowadays in seconds, like I mentioned. We are using those applications that make us look younger, older, with kids, without kids, more beautiful, etc. All those applications, they are supposedly free, right? But is there anything free in life? Is there anything free in life? No, right? So how do you pay for that usage? With your data. Every time when you use a technology or an application that doesn't require payment, think about it. But again, while I'm saying that, what is really wonderful and beautiful is that it allows us to achieve and do so many fabulous things. Not only about getting older or more beautiful. I'm talking about applications that allow you to communicate with family at the end of the world. I'm talking about applications that allows you to be more productive. Talking about companies that help employees work remotely because that makes their lives better. But at the same time, again, we see that technology is not only used for good. Technology might be used as well for bad or malicious intent. And this is like anything in life. It's up to the person who comes and has that technology between their own hands. And statistics shows that not only cybercrime has increased during the latest years, but we see 440% surge in cyber warfare attacks. And for the ones, or for the audience, cyber warfare, basically it's war, but in the cyberspace. Again, if we look at cybersecurity, we're talking usually about protecting data on the internet, but reality is, today, when we have a physical security, especially nationwide or country security, we have borders, we have security guards, we have controls at the airports, but on the internet, there are no borders. So you don't have security guards guarding your own country. And therefore, the attacks might as well become borderless. And that increase not only cybercrime that have financial gains, but increase in general warfare attacks. And if you look at cyber threats map and you try to understand how those attacks are increasing, we'll see that every day there's a massive amount of attacks continuously between countries. Again, not only coming from cyber criminals who want your money, but as well, there are wars between nations that nowadays are happening in the cyberspace, or basically online. Like yourself, where you have all the data online, on your email, on your smartphone, we see a lot of digital transformation across as well government processes. And as I mentioned, given that there is no clear geographical boundaries, it becomes evident that war from the physical world is transforming as well into a digital warfare. Does that scare you enough? No? But it's food for thought. Every time when you use technology, every time when you store data. And are we ready? Are you ready to use technology or software and applications where you don't read terms and conditions or you don't even understand how the technology works? It's true for everyone. Technology is advancing so quickly, we are unable to understand every single technology out there. And I am the first. I can't tell you today I'm on stage and I know everything. That's not true. Technology is going much faster, and I need to learn and read terms and conditions the same way as you do, when you do. So again, are we ready to face all this technological bombardment? I have my answer, but why not use ChatGPT, right? So I asked ChatGPT, what do you think? Are we ready to face this technology and the risk associated? And ChatGPT answered, humans are actively navigating the transformative journey of digital evolution, but readiness varies. What does it mean? It means that technology is ahead, and in my view, we are not ready to achieve success. Success without boundaries means that every single nation, every single corporation, every single human who uses this technology in the cyberspace has a minimum or a similar limit or amount of knowledge and cyber awareness and responsibility into using this technology. That's not the case. A company might have a different level of understanding or security in place. A nation might have different laws and security clauses in, for example, their approach or initiatives. A company, a user, a government, they all have different levels of cybersecurity again, which means in the cyberspace, it is definitely not something that we're used or are ready to achieve in terms of protection. Again, different maturity levels, different preparedness means that the answer is no. And will that put us at risk? Cybersecurity is not only about protection, because no matter what you do, and this maybe it seems contradictory to you, no matter what we do, you need to be prepared to respond. If today your email or your WhatsApp gets hacked, you need to be aware of it, and you need to take the right action to respond to it on time. So while we are not prepared, we should understand that, and we should be able to detect when something happens. And reality again shows us again and again and again over the years that, and the statistics of course, that we are not. We are not, because no matter how much we talk about cybersecurity, I hear some people tell me, but cybersecurity is technical. Cybersecurity is someone else's job. The IT manager will help me. Well, does your IT manager look into your Facebook and go onto security settings on your Facebook? I hope no. You are responsible. You have the control over that. And the same happens with companies and countries, as I mentioned. And 2023 report by the World Economic Forum shows that only 10% of countries have a national cybersecurity strategy that is considered comprehensive and effective. That's not a lot. And as per the Cisco report last year, only 15% of companies are ready to face cybersecurity threat. So we talk about it, we spend a lot of money on it, and we are still so behind. Why? Because it's changed. Technology is faster than we humans, and therefore technology is ahead, but we don't understand our role into bringing or doing the right thing. And doing the right thing would be, first, understanding the potentials or the dangers of using technology. So while I can understand that reading a 27 pages terms and conditions is not something that you want to do during the weekend, you might want to check at least the bare minimum what is in there and what technology you're using. How it can impact your own data, your personal data. You don't leave your passport in a coffee and go away, right? You don't leave your phone on a table and just travel and go away. You don't give your phone to a stranger on the street, but you do it online every single day. And when I say you, it's me and you and everyone who does not understand how much data we share. So first, we need to understand the consequences of technologies, and we need to understand that it is our responsibility to do so. Second, yes, we don't have all the knowledge, but technology is there to stay. Artificial intelligence is there to stay. Everyone is using ChatGPT nowadays, right? Who is using ChatGPT? Hands up. Of course, almost everyone. Obvious, right? And that is how we are moving forward. We are not going to stop and go back to pen and paper. But that means, again, that we need to teach ourselves the right knowledge or how to ensure that while we are using this technology, we have the right due diligence. We check. Again, you don't give your data to a stranger on the street. Don't do it to any company, not even ChatGPT. Why would you? And who told you that this company that is providing you this amazing technology is actually protecting your data? Why? Did you check on the founders? Do you know if they're not cyber criminals? I'm not talking about ChatGPT, but any company out there. You don't know. Maybe they have another parallel business and they're selling your data to cyber criminals. You don't know. And actually, it's not a funny story, it's a real story. I have read a very interesting investigation about call centers in Southeast Asia, where one call center was a real business, and that call center was taking all the data to a malicious, fake, other operating call center that was scamming people. So again, you don't know. A name, a brand, a big name, a popular person, a popular brand does not mean security and privacy. You have no idea how they're generating money. You have no idea how they're making profit. And that means that they might be using your own data. And third, when we use all those technologies, what we need to realize, again, I mentioned technology is going ahead of us. And especially technology is going ahead of laws and regulations. When you see a random application that you download using AI, and I use the word random on purpose, how do you know that that person is using it ethically? Okay, maybe not fully malicious, but you have no idea if that application has been developed with the right frameworks. You actually don't know. And even sometimes while reading terms and conditions, you might not find out. So having a clear visibility of certain security and privacy practices of the application or of the company is good, but is not enough. We need today to realize that nations, governments have not yet built fully scalable frameworks about ethical usage of some of those technologies, including artificial intelligence, which means, again, therefore, we need to do something about it. And when I say we, it's me and you. It's everyone who's using this technology. And I'm not asking you to become a cybersecurity professional, because let's be honest, I know many of you probably think so cybersecurity is so boring. Sometimes I hear that. But the objective is to understand, like we learned to close the door of our houses with the key, is to learn how to use this technology by doing the right thing. And doing the right thing still requires us to evolve, learn, and especially invest in certain areas. Countries should invest in development and research, but not only into the new technologies, but as well as I mentioned, ethical frameworks, for example. Areas where we know that someone will just use that technology and launch a commercial application. How do we ensure that that commercial application is not putting our citizens at risk? This is something that we still today don't have control over. So the research and development doesn't actually stop at technology. It as well expands security, privacy, and ethical usage. We need to provide education and training, like I mentioned, but not only to professionals and aiming to have cybersecurity professionals holding our hands and guiding us through us. Again, like I mentioned, the example of Facebook. Who is giving the Facebook access to the IT managers? No one, right? You don't do that. But your Facebook account might be hacked unless you proceed with certain security controls and you activate the settings that you have access to. Now, still, while you do that, it still might be hacked. And that's what I mentioned, that security is not only about protection, about response. You need to be aware so you can react. And then if your Facebook is hacked, you can actually perhaps change your password. But if you're not aware, you will not do it. So having the right education and training is a must. But it, again, goes beyond just the cybersecurity people or your IT manager. It's about every one of us. The world is changing. It's becoming really dependent on those technologies, and those technologies are part of every single daily activities, including healthcare facilities. So it is about death of life. It's not only about having a tool that will protect your email or some data. And like I mentioned, one and last thing is to really have an honest and open conversation about this impact that we are seeing, this change. We cannot go back. We cannot go to pen and paper. But we cannot as well ignore those technologies. We cannot say we stop, we are not using them. But we need to have an open discussion about it. How much our, for example, users know about those applications or those technologies, how much readiness we have as a country in terms of ethical frameworks, how much do we understand that we don't have control over all security. And all that comes only with open dialogue. Understanding the ethical implications, the security and privacy implications, they all are hand in hand. One topic doesn't actually work without the other one. And it's like having someone who actually, or basically cybersecurity, is like the story of someone who brightens a sea to ensure that you see, you're protected. Like the keeper who is there working day and night to make sure that the boats do not do the wrong thing. We have the cybersecurity people that are helping us, but at the same time, if the boat doesn't actually do the right thing, they still might sink. In the same way, we need to do the right thing to protect ourselves. And no matter what, some of my peers will say that cybersecurity is not a shared responsibility. I strongly believe it is. It's a responsibility not only between me and you, it's a responsibility between you or people, it's a responsibility of corporates, and a responsibility of nations, and all together in a world that is currently borderless. So this was my takeaway today. And as a last point, I want to just say that it is a shared and social responsibility, and I want you to remember that. So thank you so much for being here today, and teşekkür ederim for your hospitality and your kindness, and I hope you enjoy this conference tomorrow as well, and this evening. Thank you very much. This was Magda, Chelly.
Miss Magda, Chelly, thank you for your inspirational talk, inspirational speech. We learned lots of things about you, from you. I'm a little bit tired today. I'm so sorry for my late English. And şimdi konuğumuzu birkaç dakika daha yoruyoruz efendim. Çünkü kendisine bir plaket takdimimiz olacak. Tim Başkan Vekili Sayın Kutlu Karavelioğlu'nu alkışlarınızla sahneye davet ediyorum. We have a small plate as a souvenir for you today. Yes. Tekrar merhaba. Biraz ödül törenimizde yüksek adrenalin vardı. Hani ne derler bilirsiniz, adrenalin crush oldum. O yüzden bir tık fazla yoruldum. Yoksa program gerçekten muazzam.
Thank you so much.
Çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Thank you very much. Efendim size de çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Tabii ki sizlere de çok teşekkür ediyoruz. İnovasyon haftası, Türkiye İnovasyon haftası olarak yola çıktığımız bu yolda 10. yılımızda Innovation Week olarak yola devam ediyoruz ve 3 günlük Innovation Week etkinliklerimizin 2. gününü bu güzel konuşmayla, bu doyurucu, bilgilendirici konuşmayla noktalamış oluyoruz. Yarın yine sabahtan akşama kadar, günün bu saatlerine kadar harika bir program hazırladık sizlere. Ödül törenimiz olacak. Yarın bu salonda görüşünceye dek şimdilik hoşça kalın.